Lewis Hamilton's post-race debrief at Monza lasted longer than usual, much longer. And according to paddock sources, what happened in that Ferrari motorhome on September 7th wasn't just another frustrated driver venting about strategy. It was a 7-time world champion drawing a line in the sand. Change direction now, or he'll change it for them. The most shocking part? Reports suggest a return to Mercedes might actually be back on the table. What we're about to reveal could reshape the entire 2025 championship fight, and it all started with 8 words Hamilton said after finishing 6th at Ferrari's home race. Let's look at what actually happened at Monza, because the numbers tell a story Ferrari won't want to admit. Hamilton started 10th due to a 5-place grid penalty from Zandvoort. He fought back brilliantly in those opening laps, passing Yuki Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, and rookie Franco Colapinto in just 7 laps to sit right behind George Russell. But here's where it gets painful. Russell pitted on lap 27. Hamilton was left out for another 11 laps, hoping for what Ferrari called a tire miracle. The miracle never came. Hamilton emerged from his pit stop stuck behind Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll, with that crucial 5-second window to undercut Russell completely gone. Hamilton's post-race comment was telling, "I thought we could finish 5th or even 4th. Unfortunately, we missed the undercut opportunity. I was only 1.5 seconds behind George, but we didn't try." Those weren't just words of disappointment. They were a harsh reality check from a champion who knows what decisive strategy looks like. The contrast was brutal. Mercedes didn't hesitate to bring Russell in early. McLaren gambled aggressively to keep Norris in podium contention. Ferrari had all the speed, but lacked the decisiveness to capitalize on it. But the real story wasn't what Hamilton said publicly. It was what happened behind closed doors, and the message he delivered that has Ferrari scrambling to respond. Team principal Fred Vasseur tried to control the narrative afterward. He admitted they took a huge risk extending Hamilton's first stint, hoping to capitalize on tire advantage later in the race. "If I had to do it all over again, I would have brought Lewis in earlier," Vasseur said, seemingly acknowledging the mistake. Vasseur emphasized the positives, the incredible energy from thousands of Tifosi fans, the mental boost that enabled Hamilton to fight until the final lap. "The passion of the fans was truly incredible, and it fueled the team," he added. On the surface, this looked like standard post-race damage control, a team admitting mistakes, praising the fans, looking forward to the next race. Hamilton himself seemed measured in his public comments, thanking Ferrari and the supporters while acknowledging he wasn't yet completely comfortable with the car. But according to paddock sources, this public grace masks something much more significant happening in private. Because while Vasseur was talking about learning from mistakes, Hamilton was apparently delivering a very different message upstairs to Ferrari leadership. The timing is crucial here. This wasn't just another disappointing result for Hamilton. This was Monza, Ferrari's cathedral of speed, their holy land, where victory feels infinitely more precious and failure twice as painful. For a 7-time world champion in his first season wearing red, 6th place at Monza wasn't just a result. It was a statement about where Ferrari currently stands. What Hamilton reportedly said next has sent tremors through the entire paddock, and it involves a 3-pointed star that everyone thought was in his past. Here's what paddock sources are saying actually happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Hamilton reportedly delivered a direct message to Ferrari leadership. Not feedback, but demands. Immediate, tangible shifts in car development philosophy, race weekend operations, even internal decision-making processes. The ultimatum was clear. He reserves the right to explore alternatives if these changes don't materialize quickly. And that alternative involves a very familiar silver star. This wasn't hoping for change. This was demanding it. A champion putting his foot down and saying the time for patience has run out. The reports suggest Hamilton specifically demanded setups dialed exactly to his driving style, faster correlation between simulator work and track reality, and cleaner, more decisive strategy windows during race. Remember, Hamilton is 40 years old. His window to win an 8th championship isn't infinite, and every race, every strategic decision counts. The competitive reality is brutal. Red Bull and McLaren are setting the pace while Ferrari is still reacting. For someone who built his career on being the benchmark, on dictating terms rather than responding to them, this simply isn't acceptable. But here's the part that changes everything. Toto Wolff's comments after Monza suddenly make perfect sense in this context. He called Lewis a monster of a driver, but refused to offer pity about his Ferrari situation. It sounded almost like a coded message, a reminder that greatness recognizes greatness, and some doors are never fully closed. The Mercedes option isn't just speculation anymore. According to sources, it's become a genuine negotiating tool that Hamilton is willing. The implications of this go far beyond just one driver's contract. This could trigger a complete reshuffling of the driver market and change the entire trajectory of the championship fight. Let's be clear about what's at stake here. If Ferrari doesn't respond to Hamilton's demands, we're looking at one of the most expensive mistakes in F1 history. Losing arguably the sport's biggest star after just one season would signal a fundamental failure to manage and retain elite talent. The ripple effects would be massive. The entire driver market would be thrown back into chaos, with Red Bull, McLaren, and every other team having to recalibrate their plans, especially with the 2026 regulation changes. For Mercedes, the scenario is fascinating from a competitive standpoint. Strip away the emotion and look at the pure logic. Hamilton and Mercedes built an incredible ecosystem over years. He trusts their processes. They understand his feedback implicitly. The philosophical and technical fit is a known quantity, unlike the Ferrari experiment that's still finding its footing. From Mercedes' perspective, they have to weigh whether bringing Lewis back, even short-term as a bridge into the 2026 regulations, gives them a stronger competitive position than continuing with Russell and young Kimi Antonelli. The marketing angle alone is gold. Hamilton returning to chase championship number 8 writes its own story, but Ferrari isn't powerless here. They remain Ferrari, the heritage, the passion of the Tifosi, the sheer scale of the operation. Hamilton's praise for the team and fans after Monza felt genuine, suggesting this isn't necessarily about leaving, but about forcing immediate improvements. The next few races become crucial. Starting with Baku, we'll see if Ferrari got the message. Watch their language carefully. Are they still talking vaguely about learning and progress? Or do they start referencing specific changes implemented for Hamilton? Actions on track will be even more telling. The fundamental question remains: can Ferrari provide Hamilton with a championship-capable car before his patience completely runs out? Every practice session, every strategy call, every race weekend from here becomes a referendum on whether Ferrari is moving fast enough to keep their 7-time world champion satisfied. The clock is ticking, and as Hamilton himself said after Monza, being competitive is not enough. He didn't come to Maranello to collect points or settle for 6th-place finishes. He came for legacy, for glory, for that final golden chapter of his career. What do you think? Is this the wake-up call Ferrari needed, or the beginning of the end of Hamilton's Ferrari dream? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights from inside the F1 paddock.